Alright, hello everyone, it's Bridget again, and today I will be going through the startup for the High Elf. This is my new character that I'm creating, and I haven't played High Elf in forever, so this is going to be fun. So yeah, let's just get on into it. So the High Elf actually just came out a few years ago. I only played it once probably, and since then I've wanted to play it again, so this is my chance. And I'm starting with a brand new race that I haven't used before.
A great alliance of elves and men assembled in defiance of the Dark Lord's will to conquer all the lands of Middle-earth. The High Elves, the blessed of Valinor, who suffered the greatest wraths of Sauron and Morgoth the enemy, now seek to ensure that his evil is forever banished from the world.
Cool. Anyway, I am starting on a brand new race. Not race, but class. One that I have never used. It's not brand new to the game, but it's brand new to me. So, I'm going to be learning right alongside this to figure out what is going on and learn how to go through everything. Now, just like my last video, I'm going to set my stuff up really fast and then I'll get into the game itself. So give me just one moment. And we are back, and I am gonna get into the game now. Gonna just take a quick look at these to figure out what these are. That's heal. So I'll put it up here. And that's a stun, so I'll put it there. Alright. Tahleene, you seemed as if lost in a trance, and I could not rouse you until this very moment. My dearest friend, do not allow the enemy to cloud your thoughts with visions of defeat. As Sauron surely knows, the mastery is ours in this battle. Alas, a cornered foe is the most deadly, and there are none more treacherous than the enemy in this realm. We must put our troubles behind us for the moment and press our advantage. Alright. High King Gil-galad has summoned us, Tahleene. Let us go. Alright. And here he is. We've called upon all the armies and people we could, but it still may not be enough. King Ryuk, the Oathbreaker, and his traitorous kin have fled into the mountains. And Durin has sent only a few hundred of his folk. Hearken to me, elves and men. The time for debate is ended. Sauron sows only division among those who would oppose him, and see now what it has done. The kings of Lorien and the Woodland Realm pressed their forces into certain defeat, and why? They allowed their pride to blind them of the enemy's treachery. Sauron is swift to twist the pride and fear of his foes into weapons of his own. The men of Numenor that remain in this realm know his treachery all too well. Indeed, the fates of Numenor and Eregion are tragic, but Sauron's wrath has grown only more terrible since those dark years. If we fall to defeat in this battle, there will never again be a force to oppose him. The Dark Lord gathers strength anew beyond the Black Gate. We must throw down the Morannon. Only then shall Sauron himself be forced to atone for the evil he has laid upon our peoples. We must put an end to his evil before distant horn blows as a scout rushes. Ooh, what's going on? Riders approach from the Morannon. A meager assemblage, only 9 in number. That's a lot of them. Sorry guys, I haven't been reading everything. So I'm guessing Sauron is asking for our surrender. But we're not gonna take it. We better not take it. We didn't take it. Good. I don't know if such a threat could mean anything to us. And great, he chooses me to speak with.
With Sauron's demands rejected,
Tahleene, before the 9 arrive.
Weatherine shall stay their hands in this battle.
Before the 9 arrived, I sent forth the spears of Linden with a garrison of elves and men. With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gwythrine shall stay their hands in this battle. You know the spears as Theleron, Megaril, and Dernaith, my friend, and they have stood by my side through many great battles against Sauron and the most terrible of his servants. Ere they departed, they swore to cross the enemy's trenches and dismantle their siege equipment. It is true enough that catapult shot has not hit our position in some time, but the wider front has been brought to ruin by these very tools. You must now be my scout and my messenger. Learn what has become of their garrison, and if any of them yet live, deliver to them a message of hope. The Alliance marches upon the Black Gate, and no evil man or orc shall stand in the way of our victory over Sauron. Go, my friend. I shall ready the Alliance to advance upon the Morinnon. Alright. So it's off, I guess. Out here. Nothing else I can really do. Speak quickly, my friend, for our foes surge from the east. The Gwythrine, 2 of their number passed through our garrison from the north. One rode westward and scattered our numbers, but the other, he took Theleron. In the midst of battle, he caught Theleron's sword arm in a cruel coil of rope and dragged him eastward by his fell steed. I could not follow through the massive orcs. I failed him. I failed the High King, but still I must fight on. Ouch. That sounds bad.
Aid the wounded in the field.
Hail, Tahleene.
The Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces.
I'm Megaril of Linden. How fare the battles to the north? If we shall truly strike at the Black Gate this day, the Alliance must come hither. We did as the High King commanded, and brought the enemy's weapons to ruin, but when the Gwythrine appeared, they slew many of our number and divided our forces upon the Daggerland. The faces by which I once knew the Gwythrine, when they first took the rings, have long faded, but this one I knew by his blade. The Cursed Rider he is called, and he goaded his steed onward over the backs of elf, man, and orc alike. Regrettably, we were forced into retreat before we could aid many of them from the field of battle. We now struggle to hold the only path over the great trenches, and the enemy's forces have brought forth more trebuchets and ballistae upon the Daggerland. Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces. Alright, so wait, west is this way. Alright. So it's not through there then. Where do I go? Not through? Not really. I guess it's this way I go? No? Where do I go? Gotta be somewhere in here. Oh, in here. Okay. So I was definitely not expecting this for this instance. But then again, I haven't done much here, so I don't know that much.
The prince is fortunate to have survived his father's attack on the Black Gate, but the Guatharan's words trouble me.
The rider spoke a name in Kenya ere he departed. Umwatari, the Spider Queen. Ungoliant is gone from this realm and shall trouble the world no longer, but her children remain, preying on anything they can devour and spreading her darkness through Middle-earth. One among them must now hunger as she did, without a care for the powers of the Dark Lord and without any purpose other than to consume. These are unhappy tidings, my friend. Even if it seemed fortuitous that the great spiders turned upon the rider. If we do not face this child of Ungoliant in the war, it is certain that the day will come when her hunger shall seek to sate itself beyond the shadows of Mordor. The High King gave me leave to pursue you at the urging of the Spears of Linden, but he has called for your return at once. The Alliance has come to the forward garrison at last. Reunite with them there, Tahleene, and make ready for assault on the Black Gate. Alright, so back over here.
Our paths are now divided, dear friend. May the light of the Valar shine upon us.
Dunaith and Megaril have told me of Theleron's capture, and I am troubled by such grim tidings. The Dark Lord would not have soon forgotten the wounds he suffered at our hands, and I fear what form his vengeance might take. Even now, as I wish to abandon my duty, I cannot turn my eyes from the Black Gate at such a crucial hour. Thus I give you this mission of dire importance. You must find Tahleene, and you must save him from the Gwytherin. As for the Alliance, one of Durin's folk has devised a cunning plan to draw the attention of the Dark Lord's forces and allow for a swift strike against the Black Gate. In truth, I know not if this plan shall bear fruit, but we must conquer the gate if Sauron is to be defeated. I would ask that you speak to Slagar the Crafty. He is an honorable enough dwarf, despite his chosen title. Once you have done as he asks, pursue the Gwytherin and rescue Tahleene. Our paths are now divided, my friend, but let us hope each of them lead to victory. May the light of the Valar shine upon us. All right.
At your service. Or perhaps you are at mine.
Have you considered how the enemy's trenches never seem to stop burning? Well, I have. These barrels are filled with a crude black powder that explodes when exposed to flame. Not only that, but it burns for hours afterward. If it were more useful in stonework, I think Durin himself would have us steal some away. The Dark Lord's Black Riders, the damned ring-wraiths, as the men call them, they're wily enough, but these goblins are none too bright. They've left the barrels right next to their own ballistae and catapults. Why don't you set some of them off? That ought to put an end to their siege and draw their attention just long enough for the Alliance to reach the Black Gate. Just make sure you don't stick around once you light them. Alright. So, this way I go. Oops. And who's this up here? Alright, so I'm gonna go speak with somebody.
Your tale troubles me, my friend. for Amroth spoke of a terrible figure that passed, with an elf slung across his steed.
Tahleene, I'm gladdened by this reunion, but there's little else to celebrate. The High King sent me and my company eastward to learn what had become of the elves of Lorien, but alas, only Prince Amroth remains upon the field. His father and the others were routed to the north, but where they have gone we cannot follow. The prince is injured, but he will heal in time. I must ask, though, why have you come? Your tale troubles me, for Amroth spoke of a terrible figure that passed with an elf slung across his steed. Time may grow short for Tahleene, my friend. I think it is time we learned more of what the prince saw. From what you have told me, he was one of the 9 Gwethren, garbed in black and seated atop a great steed. I know not if he still lived, but an elf was slung limply across the Gwethren's steed. He lifted aloft a great mace, and with a crack of thunder his master's statue was toppled. It was then he looked upon me, and what remained beneath his hood sniffed madly at the air. There was a sorcery in his gaze, I tell you, for his eyes were as flames in a void. Perhaps he thought me slain, for he then rode on into the hills. It can be no other, Hithgo. The Witch King has taken Tahleene. Be wary, the men of the east who slew my father have an encampment in the hills, and it is there he must have gone. Oh, no.
If the Witch King has taken Tahleene to the Overlook, we must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead.
When my company came to Prince Amroth's aid, I heard a great cry and a thunder like flapping wings from above. It sounded like some terrible flying creature, as great in size as the eagles. I could not spy it through the smoke, but I am certain it lurked beyond my sight. I do not know if this creature is a servant of Sauron's, but its presence makes me fear all the more for Tahleene. If the Witch King has taken him to the Overlook, we must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead. The men of the East have grown arrogant behind Sauron's might, and they have left a small passage in their encampment open to the woodlands. Follow me, and we shall sneak in and avoid the dangers of approaching their gate upon the road. Alright, so up this way I go. You come too late, servant of Gil-galad. Your fear has left you defenseless, and the elf has been borne away by the winged beasts of my massacre. The Elf King will never see him again, for he shall suffer evermore in the dungeons of Barad-dûr. But you, Tahleene, you shall be changed, and you will return to Gil-galad as his greatest foe. Ah, seriously, no. Suffer now and rise anew into the realm of the unseen. Great. So I guess I have to... There we go. Rest easy, my friend. You are safe from harm in Imladris. The wound has healed, but Tahleene remains in need of rest, Tahleene. Rest well, my friend. I shall return and... And now I guess I have to go find him. Oh, there he is. That was easy.
It brings me great joy to see you upon your feet once more, my friend.
After you fell, we attempted to heal you upon the battle plain, but the Witch King of Angmar had dealt you a grievous injury, one unlike any dealt to our people before by the hands of the Dark Lord. The decision was made to return you to Imladris, far from the lands of the enemy. You suffered for years in restless agonies. My healers worked to free you of the evils lingered in your wound. When the war was ended, I returned to aid them and learned much of the healing the foul wounds of Morgul steel. When at least you could rest, you did so for many long years. Despite my efforts, your strength has diminished greatly. It may take a great time, but I believe you shall again know the power that lies within you. As for the task given you by Gil-galad, do not consider it a failure, Tahleene. None could have foreseen the enemy's malice in sending his Nazgul to seize Theleron. Tragically, he was never found, even after Barad-dûr itself was brought to ruin. It wounded Gil-galad greatly to lose you both in the war, and it is said that his light was dimmed through all the battles that followed. Even so, he did not falter before the enemy. No, you did not fall in vain, my friend. Our victory on the battle plain that day bore fruit indeed. Sauron resisted our assaults for 7 years in the Dark Tower, but in the end he was cast down by Gil-galad and Elendil. Elendil's son Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's finger, destroying the Dark Lord, and banishing him from this realm. Alas, there is more to be said on these matters. Walk with me, Tahleene. You remember the war as if it were yesterday, do you not? You are one of the few that remain in this realm that recall it, as I do, my friend. I come here often to reflect on the sacrifices we made in that war. Indeed, Gil-galad and Elendil defeated the Dark Lord, but they did so at the cost of their own lives. The realms of elves and men were thus forever changed, and the world passed into the Third Age. And so it has been for many years now. I do not wish to alarm you, Tahleene, but it is now the year 3018th year of the Third Age. Even if much else has changed, Imladris is as you remember it. You have borne many burdens in your time, my friend, and so I give you leave to depart to the havens if you wish it. There is another here who sustained a terrible wound in the war. Hithgul is his name. Since chance has woken you today, perhaps he too is healed of the enemy's wounds. See if he is woken from his long rest, and then we shall speak more of your journey to the havens. I think I saw him over here. Yep. He seems to be in a deep, uneasy slumber. His strength is returning, but he remains in restless slumber. A few months more, I think. So still time for him.
Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend.
It is unfortunate to hear of Hithgul's continued ills, but I hope he shall soon recover, as you have, Tahleene. You see, when the battle came at last to Barad-dûr, Sauron himself felled Hithgul with a deadly blow, and it seemed only by the grace of the Valar that he was not at once ended. Even still, the steel of the Dark Lord's weapons was tainted in much the same way as the blade that pierced you, and he has suffered its effects as you did for many long years. Now then, we have spoken enough of the past. Let us turn our minds to the days ahead. Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend. It seems now an age of men, and I sense the time of the elves in Middle-earth draws near to its end. Indeed, many have departed this realm from the uttermost west by the shifts of Círdan, our friend of old. He is now called a shipwright by those who know his works, and he dwells in Mithlond with the few that still remain in his service as skilled crafters. Much of the wood used by Círdan is ferried by Mithlond to Mithlond by the way of the port of Celondim along the arid Luin, and it is there you must journey to reach the havens. Tahleene, I have gathered your belongings and a few supplies for your journey. I have set your ring in its case upon the table across the room, and your armor rests in a chest at your bedside. It is still marked from battle, but time has not worn it elsewise. Indeed, the passing of an age has dimmed only our light, and given rise to the shadow in the east. Concerning much matters, I have also prepared you a tome of writings on the history of the Third Age thus far. You are free to claim them ere you depart. Once you are prepared, we shall speak more of your journey to Celondim.
Eladon and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Edthelion, and they shall see you to Celondim in the course of their travels.
Very good, Tahleene. In time your strength will return, my friend, and the power of your ring shall rise with it. I hope my writings prove to be of use to you as well. I recount much of the time that passed while your wound healed, but even I cannot be aware of all that has transpired since the end of the Second Age. As for your journey, my sons shall see you to Celondim in the course of their own travels. Elladan and Elrohir are here to follow an expedition to the ruins of Edthelion led by the elf Dorlus on my behalf. Speak not of this to any outside their company, but I had a strange premonition. and in it, amidst a field of blurred visions, a voice rose, saying, "Blood-red footsteps upon snow-colored black, where the dour king walks, to take back his throne, and finish what was begun." It is a troubling riddle, my friend, and one that I do not think soon solved. Have you any thoughts on its meaning? Ah, it is just as well. Such troubles are best left to Doralus and his expedition. My sons await you by the door to the central courtyard, and when you are ready to depart, they shall guide you to Celendum along the Air Lewin. May your journey be swift and free of hardship, my friend.
I am certain Father has told you all about the journey ahead. But do not worry. The matter of his dream need not trouble you.
So Father has at last given you leave to travel from Imladris, Tahleene. I must say I am excited to learn more of the battles of ages past from you. Father told us not to bother you with so many questions, but this is likely our last chance, is it not? I'm certain Father has told you all about your journey ahead, but do not worry, the matter of his dream need not trouble you. Besides, the journey to Celendum shall give us time enough to speak on other matters. I would think the events of the past 3,000 years would be of some interest to you. My brother and I stand ready to set out for the Air Lewin. If you are prepared, we shall depart at once. Alright. Well, there it is. I have made it to Celendum. So, I hope you guys liked this video, and get ready for the next one, whenever it'll be. Once again, this was with the High Elf, with a Rune-keeper, and the next video will either be another upload for Tahleene or for my other character, the Bjorning, Merla. We will find out then, though, if we will go with Merla or Tahleene. Until then, see you guys later. Bye!